Académie Chap, Éducation Plus, du cours de la 6e en terminale, en podcast.
Theme 6, Development. Text, Corruption in Africa. Corruption is a global phenomenon and a major obstacle to development. And that, it appears to thrive and goes unchecked more in non-democratic form of government than in democracies. Some of effects of corruption on African development include the squandering of resources on unsuitable projects, poor decision-making, and loss of confidence by the people in government of cynical attitudes towards leadership. In addition, corruption discourages investment and leads to political instability and high and largely unrepayable domestic and external debt, which leads to increased poverty and which threatens peace, security and stability. According to some economists and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, decentralization of government and mass media was identified as crucial to the development of democracy and the fight against corruption. Also, the international community has a fundamental role to play in eradicating corruption, because corruption is as much a crime against humanity as genocide, terrorism and drugs trafficking. Ultimately, and to stop this phenomenon, opinion leader women, young people, the media and parliamentarians must organize strong campaigns against corruption. They must also inculcate an anti-corruption culture among African youth. Part 1. Questions. 1. In your opinion, what is corruption? 2. What are the effects of corruption on African development? 3. Why is corruption compared to crime, genocide, terrorism or drug trafficking? 4. What role do non-governmental organizations play in a country? Part 2. Translation. A. Translate into French the first paragraph of the text from. Corruption is a global phenomenon and a major obstacle. 2. And which threatens peace, security and stability. B. Translate into English.
A. La corruption est un fléau à combattre au même titre que le trafic de stupéfiants. B. Hommes, femmes, jeunes et vieux devraient mettre leurs efforts en commun pour développer un Tchad paisible. C. Pour y parvenir, on exige la mobilisation de la population tout entière. D. Les clivages politiques qui existent depuis l'indépendance à nos jours doivent cesser immédiatement.
Part 3. Essay. In a few lines try to tell what do the non-governmental organizations do for refugees from the Central African Republic? The key words in this question are non-governmental organizations and refugee. In fact, non-governmental organizations means organizations which are not run by staff appointed by the government, UN agencies, and civil society organizations. The word refugee indicates a person who has fled her country and live in exile. It is an immigrant person. By fleeing their countries, refugees abandoned all their commodities behind them. For this reason live many privations. In order to relieve the refugees' suffering and enable them to suffer less, many NGOs bring them reliefs. These helps can in terms of food, commodities, etc. For these reasons some non-governmental organizations the rescue for them. It is the case for refugees from Republic of Central Africa. Because the war in their country, millions of people from Republic of Central Africa flee their country and came in neighbors' countries. Brainstorming. A. Reading. 1. Teacher reads the text and the students listen. 2. Students read silently the text and then some of them are asked to read loudly the text and the teacher checks their pronunciation. Part 4. Vocabulary. To thrive, to develop well and be healthy, strong, or successful, to grow well. Unchecked, not prevented from moving, developing. Unsuitable, inappropriate. Cynical attitudes, mocking manner. Leadership, the qualities necessary to a leader. Unrepayable, not able to be paid back. Debt, something owed to someone else. To increase, to rise in amount, number, or degree. To threaten, to express a threat against someone. Eradicating, to put an end to. Genocide, the killing of a whole group of people, a whole race. Terrorism, the use of violence or the threat of the violence to obtain political demands. Ultimately, in the end, after everything, everyone else has been taken into account. Inculcate, to fix ideas, principles in the mind of someone. Youth, the period between being a child and being fully grown, early life. Part 5. Comprehension questions. 1. What is corruption according to you? 2. What are the effects of corruption on African development? 3. Why it is said that corruption is as much a crime against humanity as genocide, terrorism or drug trafficking? 4. Can democratization reduce corruption in Africa? Part 1. Answer. Comprehension. 1. Students try to give what the means by corruption, but according the dictionary, corruption is the act or process of corrupting, to cause to become morally bad, to change from good to bad. 2. The effects of corruption on African development are squandering of resources on unsuitable projects, poor decision-making, and loss of confidence by people in government of cynical attitudes toward leadership. 3. As crime, genocide, terrorism and drug trafficking, corruption is said to have the same effects on economic development of a country, the squandering of financial resources. 4. Students try to give varieties of answers possible. Answers will be yes because in a democratized society, the press and citizens have the right to denounce the case of squandering, embezzlement and impunity. There will be a separation of powers: executive, legislative and judicial. Part 2. Answer. Translation. Translate to the French from according to some. To an anti-corruption culture among African youth.
Selon certains économistes et organisations non gouvernementales, ONG, la décentralisation du gouvernement et de mass médias avait été identifiée comme cruciale au développement de la démocratie et la lutte contre la corruption. Ainsi, la communauté internationale a un rôle fondamental à jouer dans l'éradication de la corruption parce que la corruption est aussi comme le crime contre l'humanité, le génocide, le terrorisme et le trafic de drogue. En fin de compte et pour stopper ce phénomène, les femmes leaders d'opinion, les jeunes gens, les médias et les parlementaires doivent organiser de fortes campagnes contre la corruption. Ils doivent aussi inculquer une culture d'anticorruption parmi la jeunesse africaine.
Part 6. Essay. What do you think should be done in developing countries to stop corruption and bribery? Students give the definitions of corruption and bribery. They give some examples to illustrate their definitions. They list some effects of corruption and bribery on the state of development of their country. They try to state some solution to prevent corruption and bribery in their country. Corruption, dishonest exploitation of power for personal gain, extreme immorality or depravity. Bribe, to persuade somebody with enticement to give somebody money, or some other incentive to do something, especially something illegal or dishonest. Squander, extravagant spending.
A. La corruption est un fléau à combattre au même titre que le trafic de stupéfiants. B. Hommes, femmes, jeunes et vieux devraient mettre leurs efforts en commun pour développer un Tchad paisible. C. Pour y parvenir, on exige la mobilisation de la population tout entière. D. Les clivages politiques qui existent depuis l'indépendance à nos jours doivent cesser immédiatement. Selon certains économistes et organisations non gouvernementales, ONG, la décentralisation du gouvernement et de mass médias avait été identifiée comme cruciale au développement de la démocratie et la lutte contre la corruption. Ainsi la communauté internationale a un rôle fondamental à jouer dans l'éradication de la corruption parce que la corruption est aussi comme le crime contre l'humanité, le génocide, le terrorisme et le trafic de drogue. En fin de compte et pour stopper ce phénomène, les femmes leaders d'opinion, les jeunes gens, les médias et les parlementaires doivent organiser de fortes campagnes contre la corruption. Ils doivent aussi inculquer une culture d'anticorruption parmi la jeunesse africaine.
Sixième en terminale, podcast, académie, chat, éducation, plus des cours de la sixième en terminale, podcast.